Hey, welcome to Monday Night Live in Lexington, everybody. My name is Kathryn Kauffman, and I'm a psychic medium here in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome to my every Monday night show. This is where we discuss what and who we are in this journey called life. And so my topics are anywhere in the paranormal to self-help. I try to include a lot of different things so that we can cover a lot of different things. Let me see if this will reload. We definitely want to have our people on track with us. So I think that that's going to work. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to weigh in. Hey to all you guys over here on Instagram. Hey to Life W. Miller and Sammy. Good to see you tonight. And Laura Day, special shout out to you. Awesome to see you here tonight. So I'm just gonna let you know I use Restream as the streaming platform for the shows. And I've kind of gone back and forth over the years from XSplit to Facebook, to Restream, to YouTube, and nothing really works very well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the stream on Facebook to see the comments because, oh, gosh. None of these comments I'm looking at are on Restream. Such a tragedy. Special shout out to Melissa Begley. Magical Monday indeed, girl. You know it. Special shout out to Ina and Dana. Good to see you guys. Happy Cooler Monday. It is cooler, Dana, but not enough for me. I'm so ready for pumpkin weather, man. I am so ready for this. I want to see, purple and gold and orange leaves, and I want to have that crisp, cool air that always comes with fall. I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait for this. And so, thanks for tuning in. I'm so appreciative of you guys. And I wanted to say this thing for you guys. Anytime that you guys see me out, okay? Anytime that you guys see me out, I want you to feel free to come up to me and say something. Tell me who you are. Tell me that you're a follower. Tell me how you love the show. Let me know how you relate to it, what your thoughts are on it. Give me any ideas that you have for topics. Let me know what you like about it. You don't have to be shy to come up and talk to me. I am totally open anytime that you guys want to say something. Don't be shy. Hey to Laura Day over here on Facebook. Good to see you. So you're on both Instagram and Facebook. How do you do that? You're magic. You're magic. Tonight's topic is so interesting because I've had several clients just in the last couple of weeks that have had a lot of difficulty with letting go of old relationships or letting go of somebody who has passed on. And let me just go over really briefly how a mediumship helps not really let go of somebody who's passed on, but your context of where they are and what they're doing is different. And in my mediumships, let me just say that I always try to teach the person that I'm sitting for how to get their own messages, which we call visitations, and how to make a connection with that person, um, so that they can get their own messages. I really feel like, it's the mediumships are beneficial, but I think it is even more beneficial if the person can get their own messages. And the only way to do that is to know how I'm getting the messages and for them to recreate what I'm doing. So there's a huge amount of teaching that goes on in my mediumships and my psychic readings, because the same in my psychic readings, I try to teach my clients how to get their own messages for the future. And, everybody has abilities, but we just need to know how to access those, and we need to know how to interpret the messages that we get. And so I'm going to have to put this on my website, and I will probably next week, but I haven't yet. I always suggest that when people come in for a reading, that they use a voice memo or a voice recorder on their phone, so that they can get all of the teaching and not have to sit there and worry about remembering it all. I don't want anybody to be anxious about having to try to remember all of the information. So I always suggest that people record the sessions so that they don't have to worry about getting all the information or remembering it all. And also, sometimes on the recording, there are EVPs from lost loved ones who are wanting to say hello to the person that I'm sitting for. And so when you do record, let's just say it's a psychic reading, you still may get an EVP on the recording from somebody who's passed on in your family wanting to say hello. So when you do come and see me and you do the recording, always listen with headphones or earbuds and try to listen very closely to the background of the recording in case you get that EVP, because some of my clients are reporting to me that they have gotten EVPs. So Laura says she's not magic, but I think she is. I think you are. I think you're magic anyway. Okay, so tonight's topic is letting go, exactly how to do it, because this is so difficult for us, whether we've lost somebody from them passing on or whether it's a breakup. They're both very difficult. So letting go of someone, what you're doing actually is lessening the emotional attachment and the feeling of, and the emotional attachment is based on a feeling of anxiety and fear. And so I guess that's two emotions that are attached to this. So Mitzi says, I need this. Honey, everybody needs this. I don't know anybody who has not lost someone or had an emotional breakup. But the pain is based on an emotion. So things like this are actually stored in the cell membrane. And if you want to get really technical, it's stored in the magnesium and sodium ions in the cell membrane around the cell. And so when and as you know, you probably heard, like a lot of massage therapists know this, but memory is stored on the cell membrane, and memory is stored within your body. And so sometimes when you're getting massage, and it's an area maybe that hasn't been activated in a long time, and the massage therapist activates it, it really releases a lot of memories and a lot of traumas and a lot of emotions because they're stored in the cells. And so when we recall an incident or we ruminate on it, what it does is it reactivates the pain pathway to the memory that's in that cell wall. And so rumination is one of the major things that we do because it's natural. I mean, we're thinking, what could I have done? Could I have done something different? If I had done this, if I had done that, and that can be the case in losing a loved one, like maybe like I had a funny feeling when I talked to him last week. Maybe I should have called them and suggested that they go to the doctor or something, because I had this weird feeling. So rumination kind of reactivates all the pain that we're feeling over the loss of the person. So rumination can be really difficult in losing someone. So emotional attachments are the key to what's happening between you and someone else. This can have an element of anxiety and fear, and I think anxiety and fear are the main emotions that are feelings that are involved, especially if it's a breakup. Loss of a loved one is more entrenched in despair and grief feelings. So Laura says, I have a terrible time dealing with loss from someone passing or from relationships. Now I have more people on the other side than here. I feel you. I do too. I finally dealt with it by not believing in death. Good deal, Laura. You got it. It's a transformation, not the end. Then my skills grew. Awesome. Absolutely. I agree with what, you have transformed the situation. What I would like for you to do is one step further and establish the knowledge of visitations within the dream state so that you can directly connect with your loved ones. And that's something that I do in a mediumship is I try to teach the people in the mediumship how to have their own visitation. Now, I've done a video on visitation before, and theta wave is the specific brainwave that spirits use for communication. And it's also part of your sleep state. And so that's why it's most comfortable for you and for them to visit you in a dream. And it's different than a regular dream. A regular dream you forget very readily. Okay, you don't remember dreams. By the time you get to breakfast, they're gone. You've forgotten them. But a visitation is emblazoned into your mind and you never forget it. You remember every single detail. You remember what they said, what they looked like, what they were wearing, any details about it. You can recall 5 or 6 years later. That is not a dream. That is what we call a visitation, which is the person who's passed on using theta wave to enter your dream and give you a direct visit. So visitations are kind of my goal for my mediumship clients. And the way that I do mediumship is not anything like what you see on TV or what other mediums do. I kind of developed my own weird way of doing it. Because theta wave is the brain wave that spirits use for communication, I start at 10:30 in the morning and I do a theta wave meditation for 2.5 hours. And I try to, theta wave is a trance channeling type of meditation. So I write down and I channel everything that comes through, what the person says, each person says, what they show me. And I have it at least 3 pages of information by the time the client comes in at 1 o'clock for their reading. And then we go through validating each person that comes through. And I like to get at least 90% of all the channeling correct. And it has to be validated by the client. And I think that that is the best way for me to do a mediumship, because I need to know that this is actual information for that person. So it's not just them that needs the validation, but I think I need the validation too, because I want to be sure that it's accurate and that it represents the energy of the person who was lost. So Mitzi says, I lost two brothers in 4.5 months, and my neighbor just died also. Oh, you need this a lot, Mitzi. I'm glad you tuned in tonight. So, losing someone is not easy, but if you can practice with the theta wave meditations before you go to bed and really focus on the person that you want communication with and put that out there to them, then my hope for you is that you will make a connection. And that's my hope for every client that comes in for a reading, is that they will make a connection and they will get a significant visitation. And a lot of my clients will call me back and tell me, hey, I know this has been 3 or 4 months, but I've really been working on it and I finally got a visitation. And to me, that is the most satisfying feeling. It's more satisfying than actually doing the reading, is hearing back from them and hearing that they actually got a visitation. So let's get into this. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, we have to evaluate the feelings or emotions that we assign to the situation. Is it fear, or is it grief, or is it a combination of all? So let's look at the symptoms of attachments. And what we're talking about is emotional attachments to the person. So whether it's a loved one who's passed on or somebody who we have established an emotional connection with in a relationship, these are attachments, and they're attachments through feeling. So let's see what, let me make sure, let me refresh the page and make sure I haven't missed any. I don't want to miss any comments, because I saw something flash up here, and okay. Hey to Joe Bruce. Look, good to see you tonight. Hey to Angela and Yasmin. So Joe says, what if they have reincarnated? Yeah, that's difficult. The communication is muted when they're reincarnated, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Now I will say there is one thing you can do about that. Hey to Amber Benting, good to see you, my beautiful neighbor. Joe, you can ask an angelic force or pray to your specific angel that you're working with to deliver a message to them in their new life. And that will be imprinted, and just as sure as anything, you will definitely meet up in the afterlife. Definitely. Okay. Symptoms of attachments are anxiousness. The biggest one, and the biggest one that I've had trouble with, is ruminating thoughts. What could I have done? Could I have done something different? What if I had done this? This would have happened? Those are all ruminating thoughts that reactivate the pain pathway. You can have palpitations, obsessive tendencies. I have to talk to them. I have to talk to them. That can be very pushy on the person. They'll feel a sense of invasion if you try to push that forceful behavior to try to push compliance on the other person. Other symptoms are loss of interest in everyday things, insomnia, lack of appetite, depression, hyperventilating, panic attacks, and I could just go on and on. So Joe says, I still grieve my husband after over 12 years. It's not a bad thing to grieve. I don't want you guys to feel badly about grieving. What we're doing with the 7 steps of letting go is trying to decrease the discomfort that you feel inside of yourself, and trying to maybe decrease the frequency with the episodes that you have of despair. Does that make sense? Do you guys follow me there? Hey, to Travel Girl over here on Instagram, good to see you. I just want you guys to have some happiness and to be able to have some happy times and to be comfortable. You're not going to completely let go of the grief. That's kind of an unrealistic expectation. But these steps can help you be a little bit more comfortable. I just want you guys to be able to have some happy times and not be entrenched constantly in fear and anxiety. So when you're entrenched in fear and anxiety, it's a miserable state of being. And that really happens when you first lose someone. It's absolutely freaking miserable. And if you don't have some relief, if you don't try to find a little bit of happiness, and this prolongs for a long time, it can lead to serious health problems and or mental health manifestations. And we don't want that, because if I have found out anything over the years, it's that, you have work to do in your life. You have very important things that you need to accomplish, that you need to evolve in, that you need to do, that you need to work on. And if you're so entrenched in loss, you're not going to be able to accomplish those, and you're not going to be able to have any kind of happiness. And in order for you to evolve and to accomplish the things that you need to, we have to somewhat let go of some of the grief, some of the despair, some of the anxiety, and some of the fear. So let me check Facebook real quick. Go back and see. And on Facebook, I have to refresh the page to see if there are any additional questions. Because Restream is not showing me these. Bad. Okay. So let me go back to Restream. There we go. All right. So number one, make the decision that you do not want to spend your life in a miserable state, and you want to return to some state of happiness. You have to make that decision, and you have to say to yourself, I do not want to live like this. I want to get beyond it. It has to be a conscious decision, and it can't be wavering. You have to be committed to that decision to make your life better, because you've got to realize that there are things that you need to accomplish. You're given your life to evolve and to accomplish something and to learn something, and you still have work to do. And so you have to make that decision that you want to learn, you want to evolve, that you want to have some happiness. And it's that decision that moves you forward in this scale. Number 2, retraining belief systems. So in order to do that, first, you're going to have to dedicate some quiet time to self-analysis and isolate the behaviors you have and possible reasons behind them. You've got to isolate. Is what I'm doing stemming from fear, or is it stemming from despair? Okay. Or is it stemming from both fear and despair? You have to isolate what is the emotion that is driving me forward on this. What is catalyzing me? Emotions are generated by us. Okay. But what that means is, since they're generated by us, that means that we have the capability to control it. It's not external, it's internal. That gives you a sense of empowerment over what you are generating. So isolate. Am I generating fear? Am I generating despair? Or am I generating a combination of both? Now, if you are generating fear, I can recommend a book on Amazon. Let me type it into the chat box. The title of the book is On Fear by J. Krishnamurti. And it's on Amazon. Let me put that on there. Okay. I don't have a link for it, but if you search On Fear by J. Krishnamurti, it will come up very easily on Amazon. And speaking of which, let me go to some QR codes for you guys. Did you know that citrine is extremely good at healing past hurts and emotional despair? And so I have a couple of citrines on the QR codes here to that way, because on the computer it's opposite of what I'm sitting. Now, just know, if you use these QR codes and you purchase something, I may get a nickel off of it. At the max, maybe 10 cents. So this is sort of a public service type of thing, and I may be able to buy myself a cup of coffee collectively off of it. But up here, there, if you want to make a donation and buy me a coffee, say, $5-6 or whatever, because Starbucks is getting expensive these days, just scan the QR code and it will let you make a little coffee donation. So I have a couple citrines I want to leave you here. So there's the Sphere citrine, and then this one is a natural smoky citrine. Citrine not only is good for healing, but it's good for uplifting you. And I'm sorry you guys on Instagram can't see these QR codes. I urge you to go to either YouTube or the rerun on Facebook. If you're interested in any of these products that I'm putting up with the QR codes, the Sphere was absolutely beautiful, kind of rich golden color. And the natural smoky citrine on this is a very nice golden deep color as well. And then there's a couple of books I wanted to share with you guys. And this one may be Mitzi or Laura would like. It is I Wasn't Ready to Say Goodbye, Surviving and Coping. That's a really good one to read. I don't think anybody's ever ready for that. You? Not me. And I'm a medium. But it's probably easier for me to connect, but I want you to know connections just don't happen that easily. You really have to work at it, and I have to work at it too, because I think that for me, the anxiety probably is a little bit of a block to my own connections, and so I really have to work at overcoming that. Now, here's another book and this is more for relationship stuff, is the sensitive person's guide to dealing with toxic people. And that can really be applicable to a lot of relationship type of issues. So, yeah, check that out. And then we'll go back to the chat. Just give you a second to look at that. Okay, so let's see here. I'm checking for any other comments. So, okay, let me look here. So Laura says, I think regret is the one thing that I experience. I feel grateful, but I also have regret missing the person. I also used to worry if my loved ones were in hell. But I don't believe that now. So the anxiety has improved. I need the citrine. Yeah, I think the citrine would be good. It would uplift. But you don't have to have regret, because this was one of the things I was just talking to one of my clients today about, is the fact that you can still communicate with that person even after they've passed on. You don't have to have a mouth to communicate with them. You can still communicate with them after they've passed on. So one thing I like to suggest people do is to use that theta wave right before they go to bed, but have them talk to the person who passed on. Tell them everything that you didn't get to tell them before they passed away. And that can really go a long way, Laura, to alleviate some of the regret that you have. Hey, I didn't spend enough time with you. I didn't get to say this, so I'm saying it now, and really kind of bring some extra help in, whatever, deity that you work with. If you work with angels, if you work with another deity, ask that deity to be a go-between to deliver the message, and they will. They will absolutely deliver that message for you. So let's see. Amber says, I do feel it completely changes the energy around the situation, and so many times I've seen it where people actually let somebody go. It allows them to bring their energy back. Yes. And I kind of addressed that in another video where we were talking about anxieties and the pushing energy actually blocking the flow of energy between you and the deceased, or between you and the universe. And then she says it changes the whole entire dynamic. But what if you thought you let go? For instance, both my parents died tragically, and I thought it worked. I worked through this, but there is obviously energy tied to their loss with blockage, and I've been found by practitioners to have worked on me. Is this where acupuncture could help, or anything else I can do to find it to let go? Okay, so we have to clarify some stuff, and let me clear the chat out here, and let's put the chat back up here. And if it will come back up, I don't know if it will or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So to answer your question, Amber, is the emotions are a wave function, and when you first lose someone, or you first go through this traumatic emotional event, it's a huge wave of energy. It's a huge wave, and it's just like hitting you, right? Now, when you do these letting go techniques that we're going to talk about, and so we've only gotten through number 2, we've still got 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. When you do these techniques, It slows the wave down, but the wave is still going to hit you, and it's still going to come up. Maybe once every 6 months, maybe once every 2 months, the waves are going to hit you. But if you do these techniques, the waves will become less and less and less. Will they go away? No, they won't go away, because we're human and we have attachments and we love. And they're not going to go away, but they're going to lessen, and it's going to make you more comfortable. It's going to make you able to get through the rest of your life, to do the things that you've got to do for your own incarnation. So yeah, hey to Brian Walters, good to see you. So let's get on to number 3. Number 3 is developing a self mantra or phrase to use that counters the maladaptive behavior. So one of the mantras might be, I am not afraid, because fear is a maladaptive behavior. So what you would say is, I am not afraid. I feel safe and secure within myself. I'm okay. I am connected to them. They are connected to me. I can feel them, and they know that I know they're here with me. I feel supported. And so, like, if you've lost someone, you might feel like, oh my God, my life is over. But you would counter that with, no, I have many more things to enjoy, and I have work and achievements that I need to move towards. I have work that I need to do in my own incarnation, and you are here with me, maybe in another form, but I can feel you. I can connect with you through dreams or however else. And I'm okay just knowing that you're in the same space as I am. And I can feel your love. So that's number 3, is developing a mantra or a phrase. Hey to Bobby on Instagram. And John, I can't say it. Jason, I can't get it. But you know who you are. Okay, number 4. And before we go to number 4, I have to show you this fabulous martini glass. Ooh. I found these on eBay and bought these for David's Christmas last year. And when he fixes me a martini for the show, I get to actually drink out of one, which I'm super nervous about because I'm such a klutz and I'm always afraid I'm going to drop it or break it or chip it or something. And he fixes a really good martini. Let me check Facebook again real quick. And of course, I have to refresh the page. Okay, it looks like we are okay. So, let's see. Hey to Samantha, good to see you tonight. So Laura says, I feel the loss of my dear cousin in my profile pic in my gut, my solar plexus, anxiety. Yes, that's pretty common. Absolutely. Because I think, Laura, you are such an empath that you can't help but sense it there, because, the solar plexus is the area of feeling, gut feeling. So Brian says, I sometimes experience flashing lights after a family member passed, beginning with hours of their passing. I'll change a light bulb and the light keeps flashing and I'm holding on and keeping her. Am I holding on and keeping her around? No, not at all, Brian. Spirits are electromagnetic. A dead body does not emanate an electromagnetic field. And so what they will do is they will manipulate any kind of light or other electromagnetic device to try to let you know that they are okay and that they're still there with you. And flickering of lights is a very common way that people who have passed on will let you know, hey, I've arrived safely, I'm okay, and I'm still in your environment. And most importantly, I can communicate with you, or I know what's going on. So to me, it is an extremely comforting feeling to have a door open or close, or the lights go on and off, because then I know for sure that they're there and they want to be acknowledged. So all you have to do, Brian, is tell them, hey, I know you're here. I know you're trying to communicate with me. Please feel free to do whatever you need to do to let me know. Um, let me know if I'm on the right track, if I'm making the right decisions, if, maybe I should do something different. Because where the deceased are, they can see the outcomes of all of our different life path possibilities or probabilities, and they know the best outcomes for us. And so, what they try to do is to influence us to go in the right direction. And it really behooves us to pay attention. Absolutely, to pay attention. Okay, let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is using the following statements. Okay, and we all know this. I can't change what has happened, but I do have control over how I'm responding to it and how I allow it to form my future. That's big because it's a statement saying that you're not going to be attached to the anxiety or the despair that has been produced by the loss. And so that's sort of a self-empowering type of statement, I think, because in that statement, you're sort of taking control and saying, I have to form my future. I have things I need to do. I have things I need to accomplish. Your incarnation is connected to a lot of people, but your incarnation is for a specific purpose for yourself. Like, you have things you've got to achieve, you have things you've got to do. And, maybe you want to have another incarnation and do this all over again, but I don't know about you, but I'm voting for one time done. Like a one and done eyeshadow. I want this to be one and done. So I don't know about you, but I'm voting for the one and done here. So I want to get everything I can done within this time frame, and I'm working really, really, really hard on it. So let's see. Okay, so Laura says, my cousin died from a mental health crisis. So devastating. Yes. I mean, I don't know that any loved one that's lost is not a devastating experience. It just is. And, Laura, just so you know that I would say probably, 80% of spirits who have mental health issues is organic or physical. Okay, and so when the person passes, that's gone, because the physical is gone. So 9 times out of 10, that mental health issue is also gone. So Samantha says, it was so hard on me to move on. Let's see, it was so hard for me to move on and day-to-day life after losing my mom. Yeah, absolutely. Especially your mother, because, your mother is always supportive and has been there from the beginning. So the mother connection sometimes is the most difficult to get over. Okay, where were we? Number 5. Number 5 is planning future events and goals on your calendar to pull your energy away from the present and into a future timeline. Visualizing yourself in the future as healthy and happy within yourself with confidence. Make a vision board to draw you into a new direction. And the most important thing to take away from that is that you include the person in your future, because you know what? They're still there. They're still there with you, just in another form. And so you put them on that vision board and say, you know, you're my angel looking over me. But it's a positive, but that connotation is more, it's like a positive thing. And you could even make a little collage of like angels things around their picture and put the statement on there, looking over me, watching me as I progress, watching me or looking over me as I move through my incarnation and as I progress and I evolve. And they're probably helping you too, because a lot of people will kind of morph into spirit guides for their family as their family keeps moving forward. So keep moving forward and allow your family who's passed on to help you. And as far as relationships, this moves you past the breakup. Don't let a breakup hold you in the same spot in space-time, because you have things you've got to accomplish and you've got to do. Don't stay stagnant. Move past that. A vision board will help you, and planning future events and goals will definitely catapult you into the future. Number 6 is, and this is a super important thing, whether you've lost a loved one or whether it's a breakup, is to establish a new daily routine that removes old life patterns, because old life patterns can be a trigger towards a negative thought process. Okay, so new patterns can help steer you away from triggers and from old ways of thinking, like despair, depression, rumination. So anything that you can change about your daily routine is super, super important in becoming comfortable and moving past the deep, dark hole that you can get in through the loss of someone or through a breakup. Anything you can do to establish a new daily routine. Think about your daily routine and say to yourself, what things can I change about this? What things do I have control over that I can change? Maybe you could get up 45 minutes earlier, go for a walk, and do a meditation on your walk. That would change your routine. Change your breakfast habits, just anything to break up old ways of thinking and old triggers. So that's number 6. Let me go to Facebook and check for messages here. So Ina says, or smelling a fragrance. Yeah, triggers can be a multitude of things. A trigger can be. Okay, let's look at the last thing. Number 7 is to look forward to and discover all the things that are possible in new beginnings. Write down these things and place them where you can see them every day as a visual cue to keep you on track. So, possibilities, what things can move you past the limitation of the emotional attachment of where you're at. And here's the thing, everybody. Spirits are with you on a daily basis. If you go to a concert and you enjoy it, guess who's enjoying that with you? They are. So if you're having fun and you're enjoying something, guess what? They are too. They don't want to see us in despair. They want us to be happy. And when we discover things and we look at possibilities and we take chances and we move forward, they're sharing in that and they're enjoying it as well as we are. Food for thought. Let me check Facebook one more time. Each time I do this, I have to refresh the page, and I'm so afraid I'm going to lose something. Okay. Hey, Martha McGuire. Good to see you. So Martha says, I think this is also great advice for big life changes as well. You are so right, girl. Sometimes we grieve old versions of ourselves as we awaken and step into new versions of ourselves. I absolutely 100% agree with you, Martha. And if you guys don't know Martha, she has a wonderful book on Amazon, and it's on empathy. Martha, please put a link to your book in the comments on Facebook so that people can find your book. I would so appreciate that. And thank you so much for tuning in and giving that response, because I agree, life changes can be a loss, like a loss of childhood, a loss of young adulthood, those big transition points in life where it's hard to go from one state of being to another. And yes, we do grieve the old versions of ourselves. Absolutely, we do. So her book on Amazon is called Rooted in Empathy, and it's on Amazon. So if you would, Martha, just drop a link, and I would appreciate that. So Samantha says, when our dog was sick recently and was in and out of the vet, I kept finding change, pennies from heaven. While I was out, I would just thank my grandmother. She always said pennies from heaven and would always pick up loose change. It brought tears to my I must say, it brought tears to my eyes finding loose change during this time. Yeah. Yeah, it can. So Laura says, so much of the time at the end of a relationship, we are mourning the loss. Let's see, I missed that one. Oh no, I gotta refresh again. I just wish I could see all of these comments. Yes, I understood, Samantha, what you meant. I absolutely understood. So Brian says, okay, I got it, Brian. Thank you, Brian. So Brian says, is it possible for an unfriendly spirit to control, influence, or possess the living so that person cannot let go of the past and be stuck? Yes, it can. You have to be ultra aware of what's your energy and what's another spirit's energy. And so attachments, and I have a past video about attachments, and one of the symptoms of attachments is acting out of character or acting as if it's not you. Like, these are things that you're doing, but it's not you. Like, these are not normal behaviors for you. So Amber says, I just went through helping Kelsey get over her fear attached to leaving home and being so far away. This life change was a huge loss to her and added huge fears of being alone. Yes, and that's exactly what Martha was saying. So it can be also stages of life. So yeah. So she says, I agree with Martha. I was able to help her through this, and she is now moving forward and happier being at college. But this was a huge attachment of codependency. She just let go. So proud of her. I'm proud of both of you, to be honest. So proud of both of you guys. You guys have been through so much, and you're moving through it, and you're making progress, and keep going. So let me let's see. Let's see. It's hard to keep up with the comments because they're not in order on here. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna check Facebook one more time. Thank you, Martha. Martha's got a link on the Facebook page for her book. And so if anybody wants to take a deep dive into empathic abilities and what it means to be an empath, Rooted in Empathy is the book you want to get on Amazon. Thank you so much, Martha, for tuning in and making your comments. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I will be posting what next week's show is going to be about. If you have any suggestions on things that you want to see, feel free to message me on any of the social media platforms, and I will put that on the list of things to do, or it may be coming up next Monday. I also want to tell you that I believe it's September 11th is the next dream show, dream interpretation show, where I take messages from people who want to submit their dreams for a free anonymous interpretation. So on the September 11th show, I'll be presenting people's dreams, but in an anonymous way. And I'll do a professional interpretation to kind of show you how you can interpret your own dreams for the future. And I think it's easiest to see, like, and hear an example of how to interpret a dream. It helps you better try to do that for yourself, because you have to look at it within the whole context of the dream. So when you're sending your dreams in on Messenger or email or Instagram DM, please put as many details as you can about the dream. I want to know specifics. Where is it located? Are other people there? What colors are dominant? What was the feeling that you experienced during the dream? Put all of those things, and we'll get you an accurate professional determination on what it means, and that will help somebody else be able to interpret their own dreams. So until next Monday night, kisses from Kentucky, and I hope you guys have a fabulous week. And I will see you next Monday. Bye, guys.